What's up everybody? Welcome to Swanky Disc Golf. It is day 17 of 25 days of Discmas, and that means it's in the bag Friday. So just as a reminder, every in the bag Friday we're giving away a $10 OTB gift card, so make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get started. So this is my my bag right here. It is an Enloe bag that I got for $20 from none other than Reed Osmond, but it's treated me well. Obviously have the disc retriever here because that shows my skill level, right? In the water a lot. That's all right. But we can get started. So I'm gonna start with my putters. So I putt with P2s, love them. Have been using these that were originally, I guess, Enloe factory produced, the D-Line. I also have the D-Line Flex 2, but I've been sticking to these, using these at the moment. So the thing about P2s, love them, love the stability on them. Great disc. All right, so next I have the Discraft Zone. So really only use these when shooting very technical shots, trying to get out of tough situations. Have the TI because I love the flight, and have this, I guess, more base plastic because it's grippier, sticks to the ground a little better. Got this one from Nick. All right, so we're gonna move to mid-ranges. So I'm gonna start with my favorite mid-range at the moment, and that is the MVP Reactor. Fun little dumb fact about this, the glow on this disc is insane. Like if you stick it in your bag and like you're in a dark shaded area, you can see it glowing in your bag. It's awesome. Great for late night rounds. But in this plastic, it's pretty stable, which is great. I actually like this disc as a forehand approach better than any disc in my bag, better than the Zone, even though I know people love the Zone. But if you're looking for a great forehand approach or any approach disc, Reactor is the way to go. Stick with mid-ranges. Discraft Wasp. Flies really well, glides really well, just stable enough. If you're trying to set up on an open shot that's a little further out than most putters or mid-rangers can go, great disc to use. Keep it in my bag for that reason. Very underrated disc in my opinion. I've said that on the videos before. The Enloe Atlas. So this one, I'll say this, when it beats in my opinion, it gets a little too understable, but it's a great understable straight flying mid, especially if you're not throwing it like super hard. If you're just trying to go like 125, 150, you just need a straight flight, maybe through some trees and just sit down. Great disc for that. I use it pretty often on certain specific courses. So Enloe Atlas. So we're gonna move into drivers now, into fairway drivers. Have the Discmania Essence. The Neo Essence, yes. This was #1 on our understable fairway drivers video, I believe, or fairway drivers for beginners. So great disc. I'm still myself working on that hyzer flip, getting it down. But this right here, I think is the only understable driver that I've thrown north of 300 feet. So potential is great. The thrower isn't the best, but the potential on this disc is great. I'm excited to keep throwing it some more. All right, we're gonna keep moving on. So I bag 2 Enloe Firebirds. So this one right here is a Nate Sexton Firebird. This right here is gonna be in star plastic. A little more stable, especially because this one's very beat in. I know it's gonna sound dumb. These are slow enough in speed to where if you have an approach where you're really trying to bend it around a lot of trees, works great. You put it high, sky it up, it'll die down right where you want it, especially this one sticks to the ground pretty well when it hits. Great disc, it'll fly far for you. A little too stable for some beginners, but I highly recommend it even if you are a beginner. Great disc. All right, Avenger SS. So, I personally don't throw this one off the tee very much, even though it is a fairway driver. One thing I actually love using this disc for is whenever I'm in a situation where I'm in the trees, I need to bend it on a forehand, it holds that line super well on like an Anheuser flick. So getting out of those tough situations and those shots, super great if, like I said, if you're good at that hyzer flip, great if you're beginning, or if you're just looking for that great, reliable, understable fairway driver. It's a great disc for that. Next, I'm gonna pull out the Discmania Vapor Instinct. Phenomenal disc. What I love about this disc, it is that perfect stability of where if you throw it flat on the backhand, it'll fade just a little bit for you to give you that long flight, but be stable enough to come back and not die down and get carried away by the wind. Great disc, and it's not so high of a speed that it's unreliable and sometimes it dies too hard out. Perfect speed, perfect stability. Honestly, even though it's a little expensive, great beginner disc in my opinion. Alrighty, so continuing 2 more fairway drivers I keep in my bag. TI Undertaker, like the Instinct, perfect amount of stability in my opinion. However, whatever angle you put it on, it'll kind of hold that for most of the flight. Also great for that forehand kind of tight fairway shot if you're trying to bend it a specific way. If you put on a little bit of hyzer, it'll hold that line, a little bit of anhyzer, it'll hold that line. Great disc, helpful in a lot of situations. My last fairway is going to be the Champion Beast. Found this one in a used bin, didn't know much about it. Great disc, will fly super far, a little bit stable, but also, as I was saying about some of the other discs, not so stable that it can't hold that glide and have that long flight. If you rip this thing, it'll fly distance-wise like a distance driver, at least in my experience. Great disc, and it's that stability that, again, any beginner, intermediate, expert can throw this disc. You'll never outgrow this disc. Love it. Underrated. Now to move to distance drivers. Obviously, have to pull out the Discraft Nuke. So I bagged 2 of these. Let me grab my other one as well.
You only bagged 2?
I know, I only bagged 2, right? So I bag a Z and an ESP. Yeah, it's right here, beautiful disc. Yeah, and so this one, as you can see, had an ace run on it, which was super fun, first ace ever. But so these 2 discs are great, very overstable discs. Great, I love putting them on that forehand anhyzer. If you watch any of our videos, you've probably seen me throw one of these before. ESP, a little bit less stable. So if you're just starting into throwing nukes, I'd start with this. But the Z's are great to be that most stable driver in your bag, as well as when they beat in, which takes a while to beat in a Z disc, but when it beats in, flies super, super well, flies almost like a brand new ESP. Great disc, love them, can't recommend it enough. All right, so the next disc is gonna be the Disccraft Scorch. Phenomenal disc. You can use this on a hyzer flip, it'll fly super far. A little bit understable, as you can tell from this clip right now, which if you want to clip to this video, Luke, you can when I threw it into it. But if you don't want to, then just delete that right there. But phenomenal, just got released this year, got my hands on one. Will fly super far for you. Any skill level can use this, great disc. All right, so next disc, this is probably my second favorite driver that I own, is going to be the Discmania Enigma. Phenomenal disc. Stable enough and flies far enough to where you can really crank it, get it out there. If you're a little too worried to throw something like, you know, Nuke or a D2 because it's a little too beefy, a little too stable, this is a great next step down. I really recommend you getting one of these, especially if you don't bag anything that's real stable in your bag. Get yourself one of these. Any skill level would be great. So my next distance driver is one that I just put in my bag, and that is a Discraft Crank. So I heard that this was similar to a nuke in flight, except a little bit less stable. So I was like, okay, that's great, let me take a step down. But I realized that the Z plastic is kind of so beefy that it kind of flies like that beat-in ESP nuke. But I would recommend, again, if you don't want to get super, super overstable, people love throwing the Crank. Maybe get it in ESP plastic or something else. But this is still a great disc as well. I throw it out here, I put on a little bit of anhyzer on that backhand and it'll carry. So great disc. This last disc, if I'm being honest, I bag because it flies like a nuke, but I'm not afraid to throw it over the water. And that's gonna be your D2 right here. Great disc, very similar flight. And I've really thrown this thing super, super far before. I throw it over water and it always holds that reliable flight. Highly recommend, great disc. All right, so that's my in the bag. If you would like to get yourself into the giveaway, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below with your favorite disc out of my bag. Let me know what it is, give me all the love, all the hate, and remember, stay swanky.